Welcome everybody to the Bulgarian channel on Reconnect curated by Uniso. We are glad to welcome you to the first Bulgarian live streaming PropTech channel and to exclusively represent the country at the largest worldwide PropTech event ever held. We thank Uniso for inviting us to represent Bulgaria, and we also thank very much our partner, the British Embassy in Sofia, the UK Science and Innovation Network. Today, we will present a combination of 10 high-tech Bulgarian solutions. These are not only PropTech, but also health tech and tourism tech solutions, because we believe that the future belongs to companies that can solve very complicated problems which occurred as a result of the pandemic. Today we will comment on the trends which occurred as a result of COVID-19 last year and what the entrepreneurs of these 10 high-tech companies expect to happen in the coming year. Stay with us for the 4 panel discussions. All are united by the title of Healthy Buildings and Health in Buildings. We also have 2 showcases of 2 of the exemplary high-tech solutions, MClimate and Lyubomir. So let us go on and start with our first panel discussion, which is Healthy Buildings and Healthy Cities. I'm very much pleased to introduce to you our panel participants, and I will start with Mr. Lyubomir Yanchev, who is the CEO of MClimate, and he has worked on projects for artificial intelligence development at the Bulgarian Science of Academy for over 10 years. MClimate is an Internet of Things company that designs and develops affordable and universally compatible smart building automation solutions. Their growing portfolio of LoRaWAN-based IoT solutions is aimed at helping address some of today's global challenges, such as climate change linked to energy use, reducing energy waste, and utility bills by up to 30%. Next comes Mr. Mitko Tsonev, who is the founder and business owner of Valkrea.House. I'm sorry. Previously, he worked in Airbus, first as a business consultant and later as a project manager for process optimization. His experience includes industrial planning, agile project management, and digital transformation in the 2 main cities of the airplane manufacturer, Toulouse and Hamburg. Mitko holds a master's degree in business management and innovations from Rhine School of Business. And Valkrea.House provides integrated smart home solutions for the European market. They select, install, and configure high-quality intelligence systems for the home and the office. And our third panelist is Anton Sotirov. He is a computer science graduate with nearly a decade of experience in the field of IT development. For the past 5 years, he has developed a mobile ticketing company for the public transport, a very outstanding one here in Bulgaria. And Seasame is the tech solution he represents. The company adds a new layer of proximity-aware services, by the way, very interesting ones, to smartphone users and enables touch-free interactions with businesses, buildings, or places. A wide range of scenarios, such as navigating to free space in a parking lot, entering building, checking it at events, or even picking up an order in the local bakery, is reduced to a series of single-click confirmations on the user's smartphone. Welcome to all 3 of you.
Thank you. Hello.
And our first question is, according to you, which are the trends that changed your sector? All of 3 of you work in completely different sectors, though united by this general title of smart buildings or smart city. Which trends in 2020, as a result of the pandemic, incurred very significant changes in your sectors? Who will start?
Maybe I can start.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, with two of our companies, we deal very much with people and people interaction with the cities. So in the mobility sector, we see that, of course, there's a lot of reduction in the usage of public transport, and also the readiness of the solutions for purchasing a ticket and using the public transport. They were quite insufficient in Sofia, in the capital of Bulgaria. So there were problems which we faced to deal with the pandemic. On the other side, on the other topic of visiting places and using public places and private stores, there is a lack of online presence of the businesses. So there's a huge growth in e-commerce and of logistical and delivery businesses. So for those businesses, business owners found out that they can actually grow their business much more if they have online presence. So in that sense, the pandemic was kind of a wake-up call to a lot of businesses to look in the online space and to try to digitize their solutions.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a definite trend to have everything to move from brick and mortar to online, digitizing all processes. And I was very much impressed by Seasame and the other solution, your new solution about checking at groceries, at a bakery, at brick and mortar stores, so that they can still be alive and not be wiped out by these circumstances. And it's a really very interesting approach, not to move everything online, but to keep this traditional way of doing business, but adapting it to the changing circumstances. And I'm very much looking for you to explain more in a while. Lubo, according to you, what are the changes in your area? I know that the pandemic was a booster of your business.
Yeah, it was definitely a booster. We were thinking that it's gonna, create some hard times for us, but it was actually a good thing, to some extent, of course. So we see a lot of acceleration of IoT, especially in office spaces, because you can imagine once the lockdowns were in, everybody got home, offices were empty, and this created a lot of problems for the owners of the buildings, the management staff, etc. So we see two main trends. First, controlling the energy based on how many people are inside the building. Because obviously it doesn't make sense to heat up the building, because if you have like 100 people, when you have only like 2 people willing to go to the office. And the second trend that we see, it's actually ensuring the health and well-being of the occupants, of the people that go inside the office.
How is this achieved?
So it's, it translates to IoT, especially by tracking the air quality index and the CO2 levels. Because you can imagine, if we stay in a room and we don't ventilate and somebody is, COVID positive, then basically the chance of transmission is higher.
Exactly.
And if you have a sensor that can not only, sense it, but also can notify you, hey, like the CO2 levels are getting high, you should open a window, then this obviously leads to lower transmission rates.
Okay, great. Any other changes you're observing? I know that as a result of the pandemics, you're very much enlarging your portfolio because there's demand for different kind of solutions. What are the trends?
Well, it's definitely helped people counting, knowing how occupied the office spaces are. not only for office spaces but also for residential spaces. Before the pandemic, we were really, you know, very fastly growing in the residential space.
Okay.
But then right now we need not only to, you know, control the energy, also ensure helping, also count people, how many people are in the office, because this obviously also shows some actionable information to the owners of the buildings. Because you can imagine, I mean, building owners, they were pretty, I would say, depressed once the lockdowns were in. And they were really concerned. And right now, the workforce is working primarily from home.
Yeah.
But we're actually seeing some companies offering, you know, health solutions to their employees in home, so that they know,
Really?
you know, yeah, of course.
What kind? Can you give some
Air quality
examples?
index is one of them. Air
Okay.
quality, tracking CO2. Those were like the two big factors,
Okay.
especially in the IoT.
Yeah.
But for example, you know, compliant buildings, they do all kinds of stuff. As you know, big signs, wash your hands, a lot of purifiers. It's just not in my business.
Yeah.
It's not in IoT, but really interesting developments, and I'm
Yeah.
waiting to see what's yet to come.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And Mitko, what's your observations on in your, because you're much more focused on smart home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So we are more like service company who delivers smart solutions to private house owners. Even though we also have corporate partners, but we are mainly providing specifically smart home systems. Yeah, we've observed different kinds of developments for the past several months throughout the year of 2020 and to the beginning of this year. This includes precisely people staying at home, working from home. They need to feel more comfort, and they feel the need also to change their environment. So smart home scenarios and automations allow this to happen because a single space can transform more easily. They also have need to secure the healthiness of their environment. So this goes along what Lyubomir just said about sensors and different devices that measure the air quality, the particles, and so on.
It's interesting that such technologies are applied also in personal residential homes, not at offices. You see a rise in the demand for these technologies also for residential buildings.
People became aware about this, and since they spend so much more time at home, they really need to improve this, because sometimes home is just regarded as the place where we relax after a whole day out at work. Nowadays, this is changing, and with this shift, people actually start to invest more in their homes, the same way as companies would invest in the office. So this is something that we have observed, because we have our orders actually have grown in this specific direction. And we've also partnered with the European transformation project, where they try to really provide energy efficiency smart home solution alongside healthcare service, because
this is together with VirTech.
Yeah, precisely. It is with them, and we've gone through a pilot stage, and we're still investigating the first results. But this is basically how this solution is supposed to work, providing people the opportunity to better control their environment, and collecting the data generated by the users. It's a European project, so it's all very GDPR compliant, to actually help them get a better healthcare service.
So a very big increase in quality solutions, in energy efficiency.
Precisely.
Okay, are there any new technologies or the application of already known technologies in new areas that you observe?
Yeah, I can start with that. It's not a new technology, but it's something that became really useful during the pandemic. It's called LoRaWAN. And it's, you can imagine that it's kind of like Wi-Fi. So you have a gateway that communicates with the devices, but it can communicate kilometers apart. So and Not only that, it doesn't transmit, harmful radiation, so power. And in the meantime, the devices themselves, they can survive years on batteries. So it's, as I said, kind of like Wi-Fi, but for IoT. It's one of the
Great.
technologies.
Yeah.
Of course, there is more adoption of also, for example, narrowband IoT. But with LoRaWAN devices, you get really easy installation because you just plug in a gateway. That's it. It kind of looks like a router, to be honest.
Yeah.
You get one gateway for the entire building, and then you can hook up basically a limited amount of devices there.
Yeah.
Those devices, you don't have to service them, obviously, because just with off-the-shelf batteries from the store, they can live for about 10 years. And then it's just really easy. And I believe that, I mean, not only I, but the whole industry believes that, this is one of the pandemic actually played kind of like a key role, key factor to accelerate this adoption of LoRaWAN, and basically really easy to install and well working IoT devices.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know that you're one of the pioneers in the application of this technology in smart buildings.
I mean, we're part of the alliance. So there is
Okay.
what is called the LoRa Alliance. It's the fastest growing tech alliance in the world right now.
Okay.
Started by 3 companies, IBM, Semtech, and I cannot remember the third one. Actility, I believe. It's a French company. But right now we're more than 700 members. So we joined beginning of last year. Really helpful community. Really can see, all the positive examples throughout the world,
Yeah,
and just share
yeah,
knowledge.
yeah,
What's
right.
working in one country as a business proposition is most probably going to work in another.
Yeah. And in the showcase, just following this panel discussion, you will tell us a lot more and
Yes.
the direct application of the technology.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. So, any one of you, what's your, Anton?
So we started using proximity sensors, which is a little device that you can plug anywhere, and it allows a mobile application to basically know the context of where the user is. This is what we used in the public transport sector for about 5 years already, and we started to transition that to use it in more spaces. Basically, it allows you to interact with a place without having to use a QR code or having to go to a particular place to pay for the service. This proved very useful, and it's actually been in use for public transport services for a lot more. And now that we have this no touch policy and the OD, every business is trying to move people away from each other. This has proven very useful for businesses to still interact with customers, but you don't have to be at a certain place. So this is what we're trying to introduce in some shops, in e-commerce, in the e-commerce sector. So the first thing that we are gonna try is when you go to a place to pick up your order, you don't have to just when you're on the line, you don't have to go to the cashier and to spend an extra minute to get your order.
Yeah.
Basically, you just show up and the order is going to get in the line, and you can get your order
Right.
when you go right
Yeah.
right to the cashier. This is one of the things that I think is gonna be used a lot more. It can be used in buildings, of course. When you go into an elevator, you can. Right now, there's a lot of solutions in PropTech that you can call the elevator using your smartphone.
Yeah.
All of those solutions that we see in buildings, they can be enhanced by using proximity technology. So any business, any interaction with a place can be enhanced by reducing the available choices basically, based on the place that you're in. So you don't have to go through the menus inside an application. You would get exactly the contextual information for this room, or for the corridor, or for the toilet, or the elevator. So this is a direction that I think we're gonna see a lot more usage of such proximity technologies.
Yeah, thanks. Mitko, what are your observations?
Yeah, I would say that the technologies are so there is no major technology that emerged all of a sudden.
Breakthrough.
I don't, at least I haven't noticed any such thing. I would say that what happened is there is a mindset shift of the users, because they are now more aware of different expenditures they have. They have the ownership of their time much more than before. So they need to really think about what they do with it, and how their environment is actually taking part of it. We're not only thinking about it as four walls anymore. We're thinking about it as something that could benefit us, or on the contrary could cost us something. And this certainly brings some more activity and higher adoption rate of smart technologies in general. But also that means that people really search for this service to see how they could improve what has been until now a black box. So what could be optimized, what costs can be lower, what renders an environment more healthy. And as a result of it, I would say that people are more eager to really try this technology and implement it in certain spaces at home or at work or somewhere else. Just try it out, and don't be afraid of something that had existed before.
Yeah, just as a natural transition to the next question, would you tell us a bit more about the solution your company offers?
So we are, unlike the other two participants here, we don't manufacture anything. We are a service company, so we take what is already there on the market, but we listen very closely to our customers' needs, and we make a selection of the products that fit the need in order to create a smart home or a smart system that allows them to achieve certain objective. We have worked with private customers and in partnership with different facility managers, so to say, who are taking care of offices too. But in general, we use well-established technologies and companies on the market in order to transform a space and to render it better for the people, for the residents.
Okay. Anton, what about your solution?
So our solution is right now Seasame is about the parking management. So you can have a camera right next to the parking gateway, and you can check the license plate, and you can enter in a certain parking area. This is not optimal in many cases, especially if you need to scale. So for our solution is based on these little devices, proximity sensors, and it's also integrating a little device which is allowing to control the barrier. So any facility manager, parking manager, or a building with many parking spaces can suddenly plug into a network of parking spaces, and all of its customers they can instantly get digital access to the parking space. So you don't need to install cameras, although you can. Our solution would work with that as well. The key is that when you go to a parking gateway, it would open right in front of you, and you don't have to use tickets or pay at vending machines, which is extremely important if you need to if you need to suddenly increase a lot of parking spaces, or suddenly need to implement parking sharing solution, such as you can in big buildings in the city center, they can instantly open their parking spaces to the public, and that's really important for the for for the city centers where you don't have much space.
For very dense areas, big cities where the parking places
big
are very
cities,
few.
business centers,
Yeah.
business places.
Yeah.
Basically, we are trying to solve the issues of how to create parking cluster. So a lot of buildings, they can interchange
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
So of course it can be used for the public sector as well.
Yeah. Okay. And though we will, in a few minutes, we will have much more information about MClimate. Would you please just give us a snapshot of the company?
So we started a company back in 2014, which seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
So we also raised some funding from the beginning. We created our first product, and primarily in the beginning we were focused on smart homes, not smart buildings.
Yeah.
We were focused on energy efficiency because basically this is one of my whys why I do this company. I mean, I understand that comfort is really important, but then in order to act on the planet, we also need to be aware of our energy habits, so to say. So we created the first product, which is Melissa, controls air conditioners, and all the products that we do actually, we try to do them universally compatible to the appliance. So if you have let's say a water heater, doesn't matter the brand, the model, how old is it, our solution should be working with it.
Right.
And we have right now we have more than 20 devices. We have, we designed them in-house from the very scratch. From the idea to actual, first prototypes, getting this into manufacturing, preparing for manufacturing, first
very
units
complicated.
out. All the sales we also do. We have lots of partners right now, which is amazing. But as of 2019, or I would say 20, our business has divided into two main lines. So smart homes, where we address end consumers really easily through online marketing. And then we have smart buildings, where we primarily work with utilities, telecoms, energy efficiency companies, but also have some network of distributors, IoT distributors in the world.
Okay, great. And what are your forecasts? What do you expect to change in the coming year?
Yeah,
the ongoing
you know,
year?
all the kind of trend reports, so to say, about IoT were just a hockey stick. It was just upwards, and we're thinking, okay, what is going to be the driver for that? The truth is that this is happening right now. IoT is growing rapidly, not only because of the pandemic, not only because people are staying more at home, but because the time has come. Right now, devices, the hardware for the devices has got cheaper and cheaper, so it's more affordable to buy such a device. The awareness of the people has risen, so they actually, proactively want to automate their life, create scenes at their home, get analytics, what is happening, how much are they going to pay for electricity or gas this month, etc. So my trend for smart home especially, it's just up and up. And then for smart buildings, again, it is going to continue going up because a lot of people are not in the buildings, and building owners are trying to figure out how to get those people back, how to make them feel comfortable to stay at the office environment. And then in the meantime, they need data to kind of see what is happening inside the building. How many people are there? Are they staying socially distant or not? So are they complying with the rules? And all this is because they want to get more data about their return on investment about the building.
Yeah.
So I forecast that both smart home and smart building are gonna go up, definitely.
Yeah. You have, this is just by chance that I know that you have worked on these artificial intelligence projects at the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences.
Yeah.
And do you think that the IoT technology will be combined with other technologies, for example, artificial intelligence is also on the rise, in order to enhance each other?
Definitely. Absolutely. So right now, prior to 2020, all the intelligence was on the cloud. Right now, the trends that I see is that a lot of the intelligence, the AI, is actually transferred on the device. So the device doesn't need to send lots of data, meaning that it doesn't need to be connected by cable or Wi-Fi. And this means that it could be battery operated, so it can perform a lot of AI calculations on the device, on premise, and then just send, for example, okay, here are people that are not staying socially distant, for example. So for sure they're gonna be merging more and more. I mean,
Such devices that act as AI devices on their own, not only to collect information, but also to, how to say, to operate it and to give feedback on the spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And for example, let's take the thermostatic radiator valve. We have a device that fits any radiator, and you can adjust the temperature from it. If this device itself, it learns your preferences, then it's gonna be able to quickly react to, for example, you coming home. Instead, if all the data goes to the cloud and the cloud tries to learn your
Yeah,
preferences, just the experience itself, or the user experience, is not going to be rich enough.
Yeah.
So of course AI is a huge topic, and I don't see any other future than
Yeah.
using a lot of it into IoT. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Mitko, what are your forecasts?
Similar, I think smart home systems and smart buildings is a phenomenon that's just gonna grow. The main question is it going to be user driven or basically building companies driven? And this is a matter of who wants to take the risk and make the investment. But yeah, for sure.
Legislation driven.
Also, the legislation is a factor, that's for sure, but I believe European Union will come up with some directives for energy efficient buildings and so on. I don't know how they're going to be reflected in UK, but in general, I would say that buildings in the future would either have this technology by default or be smart home ready for the residents. So I believe that this is just gonna grow further and further. It's definitely not gonna shrink.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless we have any other major
Apocalypse.
economical factor that we can't even think of right now. Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
And then, Anton, what are your perspectives for the coming year, for the ongoing year already?
Yeah, so for me, the space of digitizing and using your phone as much as possible to interact with services and with the shops and brick and mortar places going online. This is extremely important. Business owners are realizing that if you go online, you can get better business even if you're a little local place. So this is going to grow as well. E-commerce solutions for sure. One thing I'm positive that is going to grow a lot more is using more sharing more private services and, for example, car sharing, mobility solutions for the city. People are beginning to realize they can use a lot more of those privately and not go basically not go to, they don't know the established places where they can find the best parking space, or they want everything in their phone. Basically, people are beginning to learn that digital solutions can come to their phone and they're gonna use it a lot more for interacting.
Yeah. And a question to all of you. What kind of cooperation are you searching for while participating at this panel discussion? Because we know that the largest audience of Reconnect are British companies, and this panel discussion, the recording will stay forever. I don't need to, YouTube and Twitch channel, and it will be useful to say just because not only now, people are watching us, but they will watch this recording, throughout the coming year, and it will be useful just to say. And we will also leave your contact details so that you can, they can contact you.
Yeah, I can start.
Okay, thank you.
So right now we're working with lots of countries, to be honest. So the smart home segment of our business has users in more than 70 countries. And the smart building, we're about 15 countries right now. In some countries, and we have different models. Sometimes we work with municipalities, for example.
Okay.
Sometimes we work with telecoms, with utilities, a lot of facility managers, also IoT distributors, and also energy efficiency companies. Those companies are really interesting for us because basically they make their money from the savings that they generate. And our devices generate about 30% savings. So for especially this segment, I think they're going to be really interested. We already have a couple of partners in the UK. We have a couple of IoT distributors. We have a couple of building management system companies, so companies that develop building management systems or integrating inside buildings. So yeah, basically this is what we're seeking for: telecoms, utilities, energy efficiency, facility managers, municipalities.
And it will be great to participate also to apply at the European PropTech competition awards for 2021. And now that you have such plans, and I do encourage you, because you're really a very outstanding solution, and I'm sure that you will be among the semi-finalists.
Thank you.
Yeah, the deadline is the end of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And what about you?
For me, there are two main benefits of working with us from British company side. That would be, first of all, when they want to have an investment project in the residential sector and provide smart home ready houses, or I mean housing in general, for their customers. We would be able to install high quality smart home systems. And on the other side, companies who would like to also expand in other markets outside of Britain, they could partner with us, and we would offer their systems to Bulgarian market for sure, and wherever else we have projects.
To be
so we
the
could,
right partner for the Bulgarian market.
Precisely. So there are basically two different sides. One is on the customer side. We could provide the right solution to the investors or architects or whoever wants to provide that, and then we could be their way to export their system to other markets.
Exactly. Okay. And then Tom, what about you?
So for parking managers or building operators, we can provide a really useful parking management system. So this is right from the sensors in the parking itself that can lead you to provide better parking service, which means less cars going around searching for free spaces. It can also open up the building to more business models, which can lead to sharing or providing, renting out more free space to people who need it. So basically, this would require a local tech company as well, which can serve us basically installing all the required sensors and going in the barrier and installing a barrier, which is easy job if you are a tech company that works with hardware. So basically, building operators, tech companies with focus on hardware and parking management systems.
Yeah. Thank you to all three of you for being
Thank
so
you.
concise and for sharing so much of your expertise with us. We are right on time, and we will be just in a minute or so back when you will see the showcase of MClimate. Thank you for staying with us.